What's up, everyone? Welcome to Podcasty Masters Spoilercast for Life is Strange.
We're back on YouTube.
Woo! Yeah, this is our first video in a while.
Yeah.
Feels weird.
We have to get used to not looking at the camera.
I know.
We have a weird, we did a special setup for today's video for our Life is Strange.
Trying to...
In a way, the camera sort of replaced Dan, if you think about it.
Rest in peace, Dan. Anyways, so today we are here to talk about everything and anything Life is Strange.
Yeah?
Episode 5 came out last Tuesday. We all beat it, I think, within the first 48 hours.
Yeah, I think that day.
We were actually planning this video for a while. We were actually all looking forward to it. So I was going to jump right in. Actually, I didn't really introduce ourselves.
So do that.
So I'm going to do that right now.
Oh, thank you.
I don't care that it's out of order. I am the host, Joe. I'm joined by my co-hosts, Thomas
Hello.
and Charles. I went formal, so you guys feel special.
I do.
Thank you.
I did anyway, Joe.
So let's start with Tom.
Feel like a girl in our prom.
Jeez. Tom, what was your overall feelings of Life is Strange?
The whole game?
Yeah, the whole game.
I thought it was a really wonderful experience, and I really have to give props to the guys that don't nod for being able to take take something like the sort of tried and true, and Telltale, I mean, I love the work Telltale does, but they've sort of been running it into the ground a little bit, but like the tried and true sort of narrative adventure game genre, and they managed to do something really interesting with it and create something entirely original. Like, this isn't based on any property, this is of their own creation. And I think that the characters they made, you know, Chloe and Max in particular, I was thinking, I was like, you know, I put Chloe and Max up there with Sonic and Tails and Mario and Luigi as like probably one of my favorite gaming duos of all time. I just thought the game was so wonderfully characterized, and there are some corny moments.
Yeah, definitely.
Warren, first of all, fuck Warren. Warren,
I don't know. I don't get that.
Yeah,
I
like
don't
he's
get
so
it.
like
no, he's not.
If
No,
they
he's
had
not.
like at the very end,
He says a line in the first episode. I think it's like, I'm going to get my coffee on and then shred some rails, and that's when I knew. That's when I knew.
if they had an option at the end of the game where it's like kiss, hug, and then kicking the balls, you would have probably picked
Oh, I
kicking
would
the
have
ball.
kicked the balls.
You're such a dick.
So what did you do? And let's just jump to this one scene. What did you do with Warren in that final shot you had with him in episode 5?
What was the option that was completely like, yo, you just got friend zoned?
I think
super
it's
hard?
like goodbye.
Kiss,
or
hug, or
something.
goodbye.
It was goodbye.
Okay.
Yo, God.
I goodbyed his ass.
Okay.
Because first of all, now in my game, like I felt like, and at least to me, I felt like Chloe and Max really had a thing going. And, you know, I think their friendship was awesome, but at the same time, I felt like there was a little bit something more there, and it was really heartbreaking, actually, to sort of jump to the ending a little bit. It was really heartbreaking to make the decision to sacrifice her or to save the town. Because there was a part of me that... or sacrifice the town, and there was a part of me that wanted to sacrifice the town.
I at least considered.
Yeah, I considered it.
Sacrificing.
I did
the
consider
town.
In the end, because of the way I played Max as like a good character, like always does the right thing, like I ended up going save the town.
Yeah.
Before we
but
get into the full ending, though,
Yeah.
let's continue with your overall thoughts, though.
Yeah, overall thoughts. Yeah, you know, I think the aesthetic of the game is really great too. The way the game uses music to sort of elevate its scenes is what really grabbed me. Like, the game sort of knew when to play like the right track at the right time. And I always go back to the song that plays, and for me, I wasn't able to save Kate Marsh. And at the end of that episode, there's a song that plays over when the episode's ending while everyone's mourning, and it's like, it just perfectly suits that. And then there's a song where Chloe and Max wake up in the morning and that plays, and you have the option to just lay in bed and just kind of like look around, just like let this moment play out, or you can get up and just end it. And I chose to let it play out. Because it was a really nice moment. The music really like framed it well too.
Yeah, that was what I was going to bring up, was the soundtrack overall. I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
It was like this really like
a lot of people did,
like indie style type of songs.
Indie rock.
Yeah, indie rock style songs, and I ended up downloading most of it. I want to look up like the complete track list for what they use.
I don't know if they can put out a soundtrack. I know they've put out an official like playlist on YouTube and Spotify. I downloaded the songs
individual and what for the songs that I wanted. But yeah, that was a real standout for me, how much I enjoyed the songs, and how they specifically in the like first 3 episodes, the way it ends with the music.
Yeah.
Like it was done so well. I love the way they used the music in the game.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree.
Charlie, what was your overall thoughts on?
The first thing, as soon as I beat the game, it really didn't hit the impact immediately was not like.
It wasn't immediately
Yeah,
felt.
like I didn't get hit by the effects of the game for a while, and I'll come back to that, but it really wasn't as like emotionally like The Walking Dead was, where it's like, oh my god, not again, or why is this happening now? It was kind of like. It kind of like chipped away at pieces, and then once it got all the way back around, everything fell apart. So, like I said, The Walking Dead was like blunt force emotion, and this was kind of...
I don't know. While you're on that, like there were parts that hit me like a brick truck, for probably the most prominent one, or one of the most prominent ones being not being able to save Kate Marsh and watching her jump off that roof. And then also having Chloe ask you to kill her when she's in life support in the alternate reality.
Yeah, that was tough. That was definitely
tough.
really tough.
It didn't hit me in an emotional way whatsoever. There was one part that did, which I'll get to later.
Yeah.
But see, with Kate Marsh, like she jumped off for you. I was able to save her, so I don't have that experience. I actually have the experience of her turning her around afterwards.
Yeah, me too.
Like turning around, wanting to be your friend. Like, why did you save me? Like, we were such a good friend in that situation. Yeah. So it's weird that you have this incredible sad moment out of that one situation, but yet I think of good things.
Yeah, that moment hit me like a truck.
But anyway, another thing, I just like to compare this to The Walking Dead because
that's what I did a lot too.
Yeah, that's where I drew a lot of my bridges. So I really never loved any of the characters like I did, like I loved Lee and Clementine.
Yeah,
I really never got that deep, but the overall arc that was being told was so compelling, and that story was just so great that I was really tied down to that, and that's kind of what kept me playing. I really related to some of the major themes, and not really anything too specific to Max or to Chloe, but maybe to their bond they had. That was kind of something I fell into.
Yeah. Okay. There were a lot of parts in the game that reminded me of high school. And kind of like most prominently was when all the time you spent at Chloe's house reminded me of time I'd spent at my friend's house in high school and the stuff you did. It kind of brought me back into that mindset. And I felt like I was able to sort of relate to the characters a little more because of that.
Yeah, it was weird. You brought up The Walking Dead a lot. To me, like, Clem and Lee were on such a high level of just affection that you showed for them, the affection they had for each other, like that father-daughter relationship that they build over those 5 episodes, that ultimately in the end of The Walking Dead, I fucking bawled like a baby.
Yeah,
actually.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
I did. But to me, like, that relationship between Chloe and Max, that by the end of it, I felt like that's up there to me. Like, for the way, I mean, and I know you were kind of saying it, like, their bond, like, that to me, they had that same kind of... Like, to me, they were best friends. And in my idea, you brought it up a little bit. To me, Max had a little bit of those feelings towards Chloe.
Yeah.
But this is just a weird idea of role playing, I guess, because in my mind, Max had those feelings towards Chloe, but Chloe was still getting over the loss of Rachel. So to me, like, Chloe loved Max more than Max loved her. If you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and it's kind of weird to go that deep into it. But that's the way I handled it with Warren, and that's the way I would handle it. Like, as a character, I thought Max knew, like, she loved Chloe, but it probably wasn't going to ever be a thing. Yeah. And that's why, like, to me, like, the Warren character was that option, because he was the...
Fuck Warren.
He was the good... Like, he was such a good guy.
Shitty Warren.
Yeah. Besides,
I feel like
going
he was kind
to
of the distraction, to, like... You're supposed to do everything Chloe wants you, but, like, when you do the things when you hang out with him, it's like, I feel like that's her trying to be normal. Yeah. Yeah. But what she's supposed to be doing is with Chloe. Yeah. Now, even though that did not end up happening.
We'll go wait, Max.
Now, you already mentioned some of the... What were some of the strong points you felt like... Or maybe not strong, but, like, some of the more emotional or strong or, like, highlights of the series, like, moments in the series. You were already talking about some of them, but do you have any more?
Kate Marsh, like I mentioned before, was an absolute high mark for me. Another one, another one I mentioned was just at the end of episode 4 when Chloe asked you to put her down on life support. Like, I cried at the end of that. I was crying during that. And I know I'm not the only one, because I was watching an LP of it a little afterward, and the people playing it started crying too.
Yeah, that was tough.
Another one that didn't hit me quite in the emotional way that did, but just in the managed to be effectively uncomfortable sort of way was Mark Jefferson in the last episode.
They made him very well.
Extremely uncomfortable.
We can talk about that later.
Like and I compare it to almost when you're watching the movie Silence of the Lambs, and whenever Buffalo Bill or even Hannibal Lecter to an extent, though Mark Jefferson is far less charming than Hannibal Lecter, when Buffalo Bill or something is on screen, you're just like, oh, I don't like that.
Do not want.
Some mine kind of overlap with some of yours, but the end of episode 3 when you go back in time and you alter the thing so Chloe's father doesn't die. And then you get that future of Chloe paralyzed and Chloe paralyzed. That was very because I was like, something has to, because the way the music was playing and everything, I'm like, something has to be wrong in this situation. And obviously when you see her paralyzed and it cuts to black, you're like, oh shit.
By the way, if the next episode hadn't been out, I would have burnt down my everything would have been on fire. There's no way I could have just accepted that and then had to wait.
That's why I'm glad I played the game I did, because I don't know what I would have done if I
only had to wait for that last episode, which was nice.
Was still pretty bad. Of a wait.
Other moments was, it's kind of like I mentioned, the complete opposite of yours, but being able to convince Kate Marsh not to jump off the building. I really liked that. I really liked it because you just see this girl being depressed all the time, and you don't fully know why. You know something happened to her, possibly that was connected to Rachel in some way, and I thought it was awesome. Like the way she becomes afterward, where she's still not right, and because of what she went through and everything, but you see this girl who's grateful, that she didn't end her own life. I don't want to say for selfish reasons, but just for not
dealing with the shit.
Like being able to kind of come through and come out stronger than she was previously. I really appreciated that. The other thing was, like you said, the beginning of episode 4 when I chose to kill Chloe. In the alternate timeline, the parallel universe, and finally, this good. And we'll talk about the ending more specifically, but the final cutscene. Like the final cutscene, we all got, because we all chose the same ending. That to me was very strong. Just
the music,
without going into it fully yet, but like her crying in the bathroom, like hearing everything happening right 5 feet away from her.
That was rough.
Like that.
And that was a brilliant scene too.
That was so well done, and it was one of those things you saw coming, but you just didn't want to accept that that's where it was going to go.
It's cool because the game is sort of, and I sort of was able to draw comparisons while I was playing, but the end really hammered it home, where the game is essentially Donnie Darko, and I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Donnie Darko.
Long time ago.
But basically the whole crux of that movie is he didn't die when he was supposed to, and space-time starts tearing itself apart. And that's essentially what Chloe was to this game. She was the game's MacGuffin. She was supposed to die in the bathroom. And it was almost like a sort of like you're an idiot moment when it happens. You're like, when you think back, because of everything you went through, everything that happened in the game, you're like, none of this would have happened if I hadn't intervened. You know what I mean?
We'll get to the very end in a bit. What do you have any moments that
I think one of the
might have overlapped, but
I think one of the things that struck me was the father for Chloe and the whole
the stepdad, or
no, that was just so I didn't like that at all, but
I have something to say about stepdad.
But no, like about trying to save Chloe's father, and like that the whole thread of that goes through all episodes of the game of just trying to do anything you can to hold on to one thing. I kept coming back to that thought, and that kept just killing me. And when we start talking specifically about the end of the game, I'll come back to that.
Something about the stepdad was I really liked, and this goes with the majority of the characters, is that the stepdad he starts off as like the usual asshole stepdad. And that they were, stereotype usual asshole stepdad, I should say.
But he slowly becomes like one of the better characters.
He slowly becomes, and like even later, like in the final episode at one point,
we need to talk about that.
What?
Like when you're about to die.
Oh my God,
we need to talk about that.
But like when he goes he's like, oh, I never got to tell Chloe that I loved her, and like it's just one of those. It has to be like hard as a stepfather. Obviously, none of us know.
But like, speak for yourself.
But in that situation of like, I just like the way they handled his character, where they introduce him as the stubborn asshole, and then over time you realize that everything he was doing really was just to help Chloe, help her mom, be good to them in whatever way possible, and protect them overall. Sorry, I had that all lined up, but it turned off, and that kind of. We talked a little bit about it, but like Max's relationship with Chloe, I kind of explained like how, to me, I felt like in another timeline they would be together, but because of the events that Chloe went through, to me, like it would cut her off from really being with Max, like as a person.
I thought you were gonna say with Warren.
No, Chloe and Max, like to me, like in the world they were in, it just never would have for me worked out between those two. And sorry, I kind of just went brain just flew. Anyway, fleeting. But like, what did you guys interpret Max and Chloe's relationship to be? Was it just friends? Was it more than that? Or I know you mentioned it a little bit early on.
For me, it really teetered, and by the end, it ended up teetering more towards that they were more than friends. Especially when I threw Shitty Warren all that shade.
I see there definitely the bedroom scene. Yeah. I thought there was maybe more, but towards the end, I didn't feel that way because. I don't know why, but I just felt like they were just friends and not like the hints of romanticism weren't there. I don't know. It might have just been the events leading up to it that made me feel that, or it could have been the gap in time between I played. Like originally, I had totally forgot it was coming out. You told me that night, and I wanted to go back and play 1 through 4 again, and I didn't get the chance. So there's the time and things I had forgotten.
I think that's the brilliant thing about their relationship in the game is that it is left up to interpretation. You can kind of look at it at either way, and you wouldn't be wrong. And
this goes to my one of my stronger points for this game that overall I think it handles well. I think this is one of the best video games to handle like the suicide stories handled incredibly well. Sexuality, I think that not going like, oh yeah, they're lesbians with each other. Let's throw this at the. It's like are they? Aren't they? Was she with Rachel? Probably. Like it's never like just flat out just forced into your face. Like if there's because
there's just like the right amount of exposition on it. Like you're never like told like in any
other
too much.
Like honestly, like in most other games, besides Last of Us, which also did it very well in the DLC, I would say, especially a female character is gay and involved with other female characters, they make that abundantly clear to you by showing you because of the male audience and everything. I think this game did a fantastic job of leaving that kind of in the open.
Well, it's weird. In a way, the game is very immature with some of its writing, but the themes it touches on and the way it handles them are actually very mature, and sexuality is one of them, for example.
And the other, but just real quick, the other things I thought was like, the other thing they handled incredibly well was the abuse of mainly that final... Like the final, like at the end, the main villain, your teacher, I can't remember his name.
Mark Jefferson.
With like the physical abuse he did, the verbal, like even though like he wasn't straight up talking down to you, like he was getting in your heads verbally, and like there's I think like there's hints of sexual abuse, but they never really say it. And like just that kind of like it was a very good experience. It was the best handled for like any of those stories. Yeah. Like you don't see that in video games, which I thought was very well done. Like and you got to I give them props for handling those more mature themes in video games in a appropriate way.
Yeah, and you mentioned suicide before, but the game handled assisted suicide, which is a big up and coming issue right now, and it handled it in a really mature way. It put you in that position. It's like if your best friend asked you to do this, could you do it for them? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I wasn't even thinking of that one either. Yeah.
And games never touch on that.
Yeah. It's crazy. It really is.
I kind of had one more thing I want to say about the aesthetic, and that was that I make a lot of comparisons to Silence of the Lambs, but the more I played it, I kind of got and Charlie, I don't know if you've seen it, but we watched the movie It Follows.
Yeah.
Which was a very serious, very sinister story wrapped in an indie vibe trapping, and I got the same vibe from Life is Strange, where it had this light indie vibe to it, but at the same time, there was a very serious, very eerie, dark undertone to it.
With a good soundtrack.
Yeah, with a great soundtrack.
Let's get to the very end of the game.
Yeah.
We talked about like the highlights and everything that we thought were standouts of the game, but let's talk about the very end. And I'm talking about the final like decision. We all chose the same thing at the very end of the game, which, by the way, I also thought was brilliant. The last episode only gives you one choice. Mm-hmm. That one choice of either save the town or save Chloe.
It's actually two choices. Those are two choices.
Get out. Get off of the set.
I'm just saying.
But yeah, I didn't even realize that until the end of the game when it pops up with the screen. And I went to go flip to the next page, and I realized it brought me back to episode 1 choices.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that was the only one I got. So we all picked the same ending. We all picked sacrifice Chloe, save the town.
Yeah.
Which, did any of you guys Google the other ending?
No.
No, I would like to play it at some point.
Then I won't say the other ending, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it is a spoiler cast.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
okay. Let us know.
So if you decide to save Chloe, sacrifice the town, you see the storm going over the town. The song Obstacles is playing, because that's one of the ones I have on my phone. And it cuts to them in the car driving through town, and then it fades to black.
Okay.
That's it.
So.
It's a pretty dark ending.
Yeah, it's a very short scene. It's like them together. They look at each other a little bit, and then it fades off to black as they're driving through the town where pretty much everyone's dead, essentially.
Yeah.
So what do you think? Do you think that is like this game's evil ending, where the good ending is more the canon ending?
Very much.
Canon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the ending that for the story that makes the most sense is the one we all chose, which is sacrifice Chloe for the sake of the town.
I think you kind of just feel that it's the right choice.
Yeah. Even if like you love Chloe, and I loved Chloe, like it would feel so wrong to go against, to just do that. And
especially with Chloe's mom in the diner and Frank the drug dealer, which is another character who has a great redemption arc.
Yeah, he does
that's
actually.
true.
Yeah, he's really good. So what you guys, by the way, how early on to episode 5 did you realize that Chloe had to die?
I didn't realize it until they were standing at the lighthouse talking, and then she started to talk. Oh, this all happened because I should have died.
Okay.
Yeah, basically.
It had to be told.
I didn't.
As soon as you go through time, the episode starts, you're in the chair with Mr. Jefferson.
Yeah.
Oh, was it when you started seeing the pictures flash? Is that when you caught it?
No, it caught me when I tried to go back in time, fix something. I ended up back in the chair anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's when I said Chloe needs to die, like because it was something you were saving Chloe in that timeline somehow, and she still dies anyway.
Yeah.
And then you get brought back to this chair. I'm like, Chloe's the one. Like that's when I realized it all has to go back to the beginning.
I also like the implication that these timelines don't go all untouched. That it's not moving forwards and backwards on time stream. It's moving side to side in these alternate realities and fucking up these realities and then leaving.
Yeah.
And you kind of see that where Max talks to her alternate reality self, and her alternate reality self is like, "You fucked up my entire life."
Yeah, because going back in time so much. That's something I thought the game, the last chapter also handled really well, was the punishment of changing time so much, with both physically with the nosebleeds and everything, but also mentally with having to try and balance everything.
Yeah, that was really powerful when you were walking through, when you kept looping through the dorm building.
Yes.
And you started seeing all the writing on the wall and shit. Yeah.
Because the stuff that happened when you would go to say you went to an alternate timeline to save Chloe from the train, Chloe in that time, the timeline you just left, still get hit by the train. Like that stuff still happens.
Yeah. Sorry.
No.
By the way, you wanted to mention something about in the
it
final episode with when the stepdad showed up. Before.
Oh yeah, like how really poorly executed I thought it was.
When you're just in the chair.
Yeah, you're just in the chair and you're like, well, I'm gonna die now, and then you don't hear any footsteps. There's no audio visual cue. It kind of just happens.
Yeah, and then how many times did he because if you don't know, this guy runs into the room and just constantly gets shot.
Yeah.
You have to tell him what item to pick up.
Yeah.
Which I thought was
it's a multi-step process.
Yeah.
Which was probably one of the weaker moments of the episode overall.
Yeah, it dragged
was because
it
it's like,
down.
oh, grab your gun, and he's like, oh yeah, good idea. It's like,
did any of you try the kick the table one?
yeah, I tried a bunch of them.
That was the worst one. He literally slides a table and then he's like.
We have to do it at the right time.
It took me 2 to 3 tries for each step. Yeah, there was 3 or 4 steps.
There were a few puzzle adventure game moments that I didn't like.
Yeah. Was one of them finding the
bottle hunting was one of them. That annoyed
bottle
me.
hunting was
and then the other one was piecing the evidence together. That was
a
tedious.
pain. That wasn't too bad. The one I really didn't like was when you were in the barn finding the dark room.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't mind
that
so
was
much.
kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Just
Wasn't
walking
too bad.
around, and just walk so slow.
I didn't think they were as annoying as the other parts.
All right, let's get back to the final. So we all chose to save Chloe.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that final cutscene where you go back in time and you travel back in time to the point where you're in the bathroom with Chloe in the very beginning where
Nathan Prescott shoots her.
Thank you for remembering everyone's name.
Yeah.
Where you see Nathan shoot Chloe, and her just saying, this is the first part where it first started to get to me. Where like I felt sad, but like it wasn't Walking Dead crying or David Tennant regenerating crying, but it was so upsetting just having to be in that room and how powerful that scene was of hearing like what I considered the person she loved to be shot right there. I thought the kick off that cutscene with that was incredibly powerful.
That was another character, really quick. That was another character who we talked about redemption arcs for. Didn't have a redemption arc, Nathan Prescott.
Yeah.
But when you hear that final voicemail.
Yeah. It's
like,
not as shitty.
Yeah, it wasn't as shitty. And he's still a horrible character, but I think that game also handled mental illness really well. But yeah, I thought that moment was interesting in that, like, what I was saying before is it showed the futility of everything Max did. Like, it wasn't a happy ending. This game doesn't have a happy ending. It's not like, oh, they're all fine, everyone's dandy.
Yeah.
Her best friend gets shot in front of her, and she knows that she can't do anything because if she does anything, it restarts the whole thing, and it fucks up the time stream.
What I really liked about that, sorry, I just skipped you if you want to say anything.
I have some thoughts like when,
For a final,
Yeah.
I really liked right after that goes to all the photographs, and all the ones that you and Chloe are burning up.
Yeah.
But then all the ones that you kept seeing pop up throughout the rest of the episodes, like that leads to the gun, which leads to the dark room, which leads to Mr. Jefferson, and like how quickly then everything gets solved.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just because. Honestly, Max got selfish at that point.
I was just gonna say that exactly. She was selfish.
It sort of reminds me of the whole game. Sort of reminds me of like the Last of Us ending a little bit, where you didn't have choice in the Last of Us ending, but it was Joel was making a selfish choice inherently.
Yeah. And then after that, it kind of like goes. You go to this art museum at one point. No, that's before that. Right?
Yeah, that's way
that
before
happens
that.
way
That's way before. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense.
That was honestly a little dull. I didn't like that.
Also, while we're on that, I thought it was kind of interesting at first, the journey through Max's subconscious.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of cool to go through all the moments in the game that you and Chloe had together. And honestly, that kind of tipped me off a little bit too as to what was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that part dragged on a little bit as well.
Yeah. So the part that ultimately got me though about the ending, like when I teared up a little bit. It wasn't like crying, but it was
man tears.
Yeah, man tears. Football. Man tears was it's such a weird scene. I don't know why it bothered me so much, but it was a scene of walking to the funeral, and you see all the characters showing up. You see the stepdad and her mom walking, and the mom just starts breaking down.
Yeah.
And for whatever, like, that's the part.
Yeah.
That when it's set in, and, like, that's the part that got to me where I was like, holy shit. Like, for whatever reason, like, maybe because I just know it's such a horrible thing, but, like, a parent losing a child.
Yeah.
Like, that's the part that really bothered me. It wasn't Chloe losing her friend or the person she loved. It was the parent having now, especially knowing the parent already lost her first husband, now is losing her child on top of that. And in such like a horrific way also. Like that's the part where it really set in, and I thought that final that cemetery shot was so nice with
the funeral.
Max gets like real close to Warren. You have the parents there, you have a few other people from school from me. Well, no, I'm assuming she was there also.
Yeah, Kay Marsh was in there.
in there because never mind, that never happens then at a certain point.
Because everything you do hasn't happened.
Yeah,
again,
because
futility.
Yeah.
But and then like far off in the distance, you see the drug dealer, the Frank,
and
you see
his
Frank
dog.
Really bad with names.
I am really bad.
You're really bad with names.
By the
Dave.
way, if it was Warren on that roof, I would have convinced him more to jump.
God, you're a terrible human being. Yeah. So, Charlie, what did you want to get out about the overall ending?
So when I was watching, like when I had made the decision to save the town, and then when I was watching the final cutscene roll and the music swelling up, I really was kind of numb to like the emotion, like the insane amount of emotion that the game was putting out, and I really wasn't even thinking about it at all that day. And then later that night, I was sitting down, like just playing with my dogs because they won't fucking leave me alone. I hate them. And I just started crying.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, it hit me like a wall.
That's
and
insane.
I was just so sad. I was so depressed.
Yeah.
That's weird that you had a delayed reaction.
Yeah, it was insanely... Because it was like... A lot of the game had to do with denial. Yeah. Because Max was in denial. She couldn't do anything. And, like, those thoughts came up in myself, like, things I had been in denial about. And it all kind of... locked in.
Hit each other.
It hit me at home, and like I said, one of the things I kept thinking about was how she just, no matter how many times she tried to go out of her way to make things the way she wanted, it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, even if this is proof that if you could change anything, it wouldn't matter because everything would fall apart.
Yeah, like it all.
Yeah, and
everything.
It all locked into place, and I just lost it.
Yeah, and you're right about that. The entire game really is just Max's denial.
Yeah.
Like, nope, she doesn't die here. Nope, she doesn't die here. Nope, this doesn't happen.
Because if her death will always lead to... Like, her death was the reason that that everything gets solved. Like, the case gets solved is by her death every time.
I have a theory to run by you guys, and that is, do you guys think that Rachel Amber... sort of the butterfly who keeps showing up. I thought that butterfly was supposed to be Rachel Amber. Do you think Rachel Amber had the same powers? Because that was a theory that kept running through my head, especially when I thought the butterfly was like supposed to sort of be Rachel Amber to an extent.
So is her power turning into a butterfly?
No, I don't know, but like it never explained where Max's time power comes from.
I think that's just another like don't think about it too much kind of thing.
And it never crossed my mind that Rachel had powers. For a while when we were talking about this before episode 5, one of my conversation points was going to be, what would you want to see in season 2?
Oh.
And now I'm at this point of I don't think there is going to be a season 2.
This would be an excellent one-off thing.
That's what I thought. Like
I wrote down something. I think it'd be interesting to see a season 2, but that it was a prequel, and it sort of went on my weird random theory that Rachel Amber also had these powers.
I mean, if it was a prequel, then I could dig that.
That's one of those things that it falls into my prequel trap though of. You know how it's going to end. Yeah. And to me, that always kind of takes a little bit of the oomph out of prequels, especially knowing Chloe, like the character Chloe became from where she began in the week. Like I really didn't enjoy that Chloe in the beginning, so it would kind of be weird. to me. Like that, like a prequel would be hard if they were to go with that she had those powers.
Yeah.
Any last top words on Life is Strange?
Thank you. Because this is because I think you dropped the name.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah, I just picked it. I just decided to play it.
And we all went, even Dan, whoever that is, we all went and bought it.
Yeah.
Honestly, one of the better games I played this year, for at least from a narrative standpoint, and I'm so glad I played it. Because I mentioned it before, but I played the first episode when it came out, and I didn't like it. But it really caught on around episode 2 and onward. I think, Don't Nod, if they continue to make experiences like this, really have a chance to give Telltale a run for their money.
Definitely.
Or at least be a competitor in that field, you know what I mean?
Their engine was way better.
And and I love seeing an original story, you know what I mean? I feel like so often now games are sequels or based on the best-selling property, but no, they created this world and they created this story and these characters entirely original, and it was just as effective as like any game that say it was like a Mass Effect game and I'm playing, the third one and I'm playing with characters I've been playing for 2 games prior. Yeah. It was just as effective characterization as any of those games.
Yeah. To me, it's I'm going to be honest, it's in my top 5 games. It's actually in my top 3.
Like I
have a little
of the year.
I have it saved on my phone.
I know, it's just
of the year?
Yeah. Like it's one of my favorite games of the year. It's It's one of those things, for games like to go, it probably won't fall into, like Walking Dead Season 1. It is one of my favorite games of all time. Like, it is in my top whatever list. But, yeah, to me, you have to give some space for that.
Warren was this game's Kenny.
Dude, Kenny was my... Okay, let's not get into it. Yeah. Kenny was my boy. So anyways, that was our Life is Strange Spoilercast. If you guys didn't know, this was a spin-off of... our podcast, Demastered, which is a weekly gaming podcast. We get together every Wednesday, Thursday.
I think we do it every week.
Yeah, every week. But we post Wednesdays and Thursdays. So if you like this, please check out the podcast. You can find it on iTunes or any of your podcast aggregators.
Yeah.
There's that word.
Yeah. Or you can find us on facebook.com/podcastdemastered or follow us on Twitter @demastercast, where you'll get updates to when special videos like this go live or when the podcast goes live. And sometimes when I see something funny or interesting video game-wise, I'll post it on there. So please give us a follow there, like us on Facebook. And if you like this video and you want us to keep doing more, comment, what did you think of this Life is Strange ending?
We definitely didn't get everything, probably.
No, absolutely.
Like, if you played if you chose the other ending, what did you think of that ending compared to the, in my opinion, more fleshed out ending? Mm-hmm. So yeah, please like and subscribe to us. Also, that would be cool. I would enjoy that.
The classic YouTube combination of subscribe, and comment.
Yeah, I just did it a little out of order.
Yeah,
because we mix things up at Podcast Demastered. So guys, we'll see you guys next time, and thank you for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Stop saying thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get out.
Okay.
Okay.